Yay! My Steelers did exactly what the Texas Longhorns could not do. We won the game. They made me proud. I was happy. Started off a little rough and I was like, oh no, am I going to see Texas 2.0? But no, the Pittsburgh Steelers defeated the Cleveland Browns today. They took care of business. They made me happy. I feel happy. We moved to 10-3. We avenged the loss because that loss stood with me for a while, but they took care of business. The Steelers came out, did what they were supposed to do. Defense looked good. That crowd looked amazing. The weather was good. We even got a yellow end zone. The yellow Steelers end zone is back for this game. And I could not be more excited for that because I love that Steelers yellow end zone. But you know what? What I love the most is a win. We got that 10th win from Mike Tomlin, and something about that 10th win just sounds good. It feels good. We're right on track. We're right where we're supposed to be. And I am so excited for this team. So let me get to the other side of this video so I can tell you all the different things I loved and also whine a little bit, because it wouldn't be me if I didn't whine a little bit, right? The great news is we are now ahead by 2 games in the AFC North. Yes, we still have the Ravens on our schedule, and yes, we still have the Bengals on our schedule again, but we are currently ahead by 2 games. So I will take that as a win and I will keep it and I will love on it. Yes, our schedule gets tough after this. Yes, we have a tough stretch of 3 games in 10 days, but it just kind of is what it is. Those teams have to play us just like we have to go play those teams. So I will let that be where it's going to be for now. The officiating in football is so bad. College football is bad. The NFL is bad. It's bad. The officiating is so bad. And I know to the core of the NFL and college football, it is a business and they want to control their business. And the way that you control your business is you control the calls that are made. But as a fan, we don't know what pass interference is. We don't know what roughing the passer is. We don't even know that we don't even trust that you're going to spot the ball correctly, because there was a lot of spotting today that I saw that I was like, how are they short? How is that the right spot? So the officiating in football is broken. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that for the rest of the year, but it's just so frustrating that I cannot not say it. But the Steelers took care of business. I am so proud of them. And before I get into the things I love, I want to give a special shout out to Patrick Queen, because Patrick Queen is playing amazing. He looks good. He keeps popping up on my screen. He keeps popping up in my memory, to be honest. And so shout out to Patrick Queen for coming over, playing with my Steelers, and making an impact. I love when a player comes over and makes an impact. But anyways, let me get into the things that I loved. The things that I love, the offense starting slow, but being able to recover. After the offense started a little slow, I will not lie, I was like, not this again. Here we go again, right? And we didn't. We started off slow. I felt like our first 4 or 5 possessions were really slow, and then we slowly started to figure it out. Now, I know that we were without George Pickens, and so sometimes when you're without your star, it's a little bit wonky for you to kind of figure out what you're going to do and kind of get your groove with the players that we had, but we figured it out, and our offense made do. And so we won, we scored points. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with starting slow if we're going to score points. Actually, I'm not okay with starting slow, but I'll leave it where it's at because we won the game. The other thing I'm super excited about is we got another 3 turnovers. You know, I love a turnover. I love turnovers. I just really love turnovers. Special teams was special with one of those turnovers. Very important, sealed the game, and I love a good turnover. So shout out to this Pittsburgh Steelers defense on continuing to get me turnovers every game. The best part about the turnover is Keanu Benton got one. I love a big boy play. So shout out to him for stepping in there and catching the football. Kudos to him on that. We also got an interception in the 4th quarter when we really needed it and they were trying to drive and hopefully score and make the game closer. And then special teams being special. Special teams getting another turnover is just absolutely amazing. So this is another Steelers game that we have had 3 turnovers. I feel like this might be our 3rd or 4th game that we've had 3 turnovers. I love that. I love turnovers. Give me all the turnovers. I will take all the turnovers we can get. I also want to give a shout out to this offensive line because they stepped up and played better than they did the first time we played the Browns. So kudos to them for stepping up and taking care of business and doing what they were supposed to do. So let me just move on to my next thing. My whatever is going to be kind of weird here, but does anybody know how they score a turnover on downs? I'm sure that I could probably Google search this and get the answer, but when I was typing up my notes, I needed to record this because I have some other things I need to do, but I was wondering how are turnovers on downs, how does that show up on stats? I don't think it's a turnover, but what does it look like? Does the team just go 0 for whatever on 4th, but then how does that show up for a team's defense, or does that not show up? Is that like not a recordable sack or not a recordable stat? I don't really know how that shows up up. So because technically then we had 4 turnovers, if that works, but I don't really know how that is statted. If anybody understands how we actually stat a turnover on downs, let me know, because I would love to hear how we do that so I can keep track of it. The things that I hated, I do not like when our special teams gives up long returns. Now, the defense held, it didn't result into any points, but I hate when we give up long yards on a kickoff, especially coming out of halftime. What did you talk about at halftime? You knew they were going to get the ball. You knew you were going to be on kickoff, and you come out and the guy gets like a 50-yard return on you. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. The other thing I don't like is slow starts. If you're going to have a slow start like we did today, then you're going to score a lot of points. Whatever. I don't like slow starts. They make me anxious. They make me nervous. I get it. Everything's not perfect. Sometimes you're going to have slow starts. And I just wanted to call it out here because I didn't love it. I also didn't love the phantom pass, roughing the passer call on Jameis Winston. That was a terrible call. However, they missed other calls that were actually roughing the passer. And so I don't know what's going on with these refs. I will continue to say that they suck. And that's just all I can say about that. The other thing I didn't love is a late turnover by Cordell Patterson. I didn't love the fact that he turned the ball over because I don't like turnovers. But what really frustrates me is why he even had the ball in the first place. We have 2 running backs that are playing very well this game. They had great games, but yet Arthur Smith still feels the need to make sure Cordell Patterson gets touches. I don't understand. It's like they're in a contract together and he has to have a certain amount of touches or he has to be involved in the game a certain amount of times. I don't understand why we do that. I don't understand why we have to have Cordell Patterson always touch the ball. I don't get it. I don't like it. I hated his fumble, and I feel like I've been ranting about him since week 1. So I don't even know what to say at this point. So that was frustrating. It happened at the end of the game. Thank God for our defense for stepping up and nulling that whole turnover thing. We got to turn over right back. But why do we do that? It's like the Steelers cannot win for losing sometimes. We cannot get it out of our own way. I hate it. It's frustrating. The other random thing I'm just going to throw out here because I feel like it doesn't happen often. The Steelers and the Browns both possessed the ball for 30 minutes exactly. I don't know if I've ever seen a game where both teams possessed the ball for the exact same amount of time. I just thought that was cool, so I just wanted to share, and it's super random. So if you've ever seen that, let me know in the comment section below. I just thought it was cool when I looked at the stats and I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, it's equal. I've just never seen it be equal, but whatever. Having said all of that, my Steelers won. We are 10-3. We are now heading to play the Eagles, and I have a lot of things to say about the Eagles because the Eagles are one of the teams that I watch probably more than any other team that I watch that is not the Steelers. So I have a lot of information to share about the Eagles. I would say the Eagles and the Ravens are the 2 teams that I watch the most in the NFL that aren't the Steelers. And so I'm excited for the matchup. I'm excited to see the Steelers be put to the test. However, before we get there, I want to celebrate this win, and I want to celebrate the guys for winning this game, being atop of the AFC North, and to keep continuing to grind. I love what we're doing. I love where we're at. I wish that we could have saw more Justin Fields today. To be honest, I didn't really see Justin Fields on the sideline, but it is what it is. As long as the Steelers are winning and they're doing what they need to do, I like it. And so I'm going to celebrate the wins because I'm going to be honest with you, there's a lot of fans right now that wish that they were here celebrating wins. So I'm going to be grateful for my wins. I'm going to take them and I'm going to love on them, and I'm going to be happy that my team was able to get the win today. And like I always do in these videos, on the other side of this, I am going to rant about some things I'm going to keep an eye out on, but I'm excited that we got the win. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video. And I am just excited that we're 10-3 and everybody thought we were going to suck. And maybe we do suck. It is what it is at this point, right? We've won 10 games and we're headed on to play the Eagles. And if you don't like it, I really don't care. So let me rant on the other side of this. Here we go.
To be honest, there's really 3 things I'm going to be focused on as we move forward. The first one is very obvious, is George Pickens' health. I hope that they kept out George Pickens today more of a precautionary measure and not the fact that he's actually hurt. So I'm going to keep an eye on George Pickens. I think it's going to be super important to have him out there. The other thing I'm going to be paying attention to as we move forward is, again, this offensive line is going to start to get challenged with playing the Eagles, with playing the Ravens, and then playing the Chiefs. So I am going to be paying attention to this offensive line, making sure that we're staying healthy and we're doing all the things that we're supposed to do. We look good, but I'm just calling it out here because that is what I get to do in this section. The other thing I'm very curious to see is going to be, what is our offensive game plan against the Eagles. The Eagles has an amazing run game. Obviously, the Eagles are obviously struggling to pass the ball, which I only know that because sometimes I feel like I'm an Eagles fan by how much I'm in Eagles news. But I'm very curious to see what the Steelers' game plan is against this Eagles team, and a team that I actually believe to be very good. So it will be interesting to see what happens over this next week. I'm super excited that we're here. I'm super excited to be atop of the AFC North, and I hope this winning just continues because who doesn't like when their teams win? So I will end this video here. I'm super excited for this next coming week. Although I'm a little nervous, I'm excited to see the Steelers team match up with the Eagles next week. So as always, here we go.